is there a magic answer? And some of the things, especially in college football in 2018 with the RPO game, how many guys you commit to the run. So every guy that you commit to the run is one less guy you can commit to the pass. And it singles you up in coverage. It also creates windows, which creates opportunities offensively. And there's certain instances, too, where you have an individual, what do you call it, man or a matchup zone principle, that if you don't make that play early in the game, you buy that play for the rest of the day.
I see.
Whether it's an inside breaking route or an outside breaking route. And so what you try to do as best you can is mix coverage. But again, in college football, again, the run-pass option, which is the bulk of what they did offensively, it's very difficult to take one man off the run game to ensure that you have multiple bodies in throwing lanes and some of those things.
So how do you come away? How do you come away then, looking at it today?
Sure, and we did mix coverage at times. There's a couple of instances where if you knew they were going to run that play, you'd make that call. There's other times you'd say they may have caught us in one. Ultimately, you have guys, individuals in place to make a play. Some are harder than others, but that's football, and so you're expected to make the bulk of them, which we're excited we did in the second half.
It's a constant chess match, though.
It is a chess match. Right, and so what does that mean? That means that you've got to make sure that your gap sound, and so to take a linebacker out of the fit to play coverage, you leave yourself susceptible that way. And so again, it's a back and forth. And like I said, as you mix things, when you run that call it an adjusted coverage to maybe get a more advantageous situation for a defensive back, that's the time you have to make that play. And if you don't, again, you buy it for the bulk of the day, and we did that at times today.
Coach, you're without 5 starters. You got some young guys playing, not to make excuses, but there's only one way the young guys are going to experience by playing. But is there going to be some growing pains?
I think we're finding that to be the case. I mean, you're 7 games into this thing, and you're right. We're not in the business of making excuses, but I think at kickoff there was 3 defensive starters out, and we lost Damon early in the game. And at some point, I think BB went out for a little bit. So that's opportunities for other guys. As you go into week 8, I would make the comment that we're running out of time in terms of being young. We got to, is it a work in progress? I think it always is, but it's time now for us to get our feet underneath us and perform better. And then, again, what you don't want to discount again is shutting the team out in the second half, which is difficult to do. And then 3 takeaways, which was exciting, and some guys that may have missed a play early in the game or at some point over the course of the season make a play today. So there's some obvious positives.
And when you look at this, and you're okay, we only did give up 14 points, but a lot of yards, slant over and over, some of the other issues. How do you kind of leave this game? How do you approach it this year?
Well, I think with the and I think I talked to you all before about this. We understand the standards at Ohio State, and when you don't meet those standards, you're disappointed. I think if you pull the defensive coaches and the defensive players, there's some level of disappointment in some of the things that you mentioned, but also awfully excited to be 7-0 talking to you right now. The conversation is a whole lot different if it wasn't. And guys made some plays in the second half to give us a chance to win the game. But no, I think going into week 8, it's time, and we keep saying it. And patience is running thin for us as coaches, and with all things, you always put it back on you as a coach. And making sure that we're putting the guys in the best situation to be successful, and then ultimately giving them the tools to make that play.
Is that back-to-back shutouts in the second half?
I think it might be.
So you're adjusting well?
Well, I think maybe some of that. I think some of it is some of those younger players that you mentioned, kind of getting a little bit of a comfort level as the game wears on. And certainly too, we're going to see teams best, and we're going to see maybe a little bit different flavor. A week ago, our opponent, I think, ran empty, no backs 7 times, and then all of a sudden, 7 times the entire season. Then in our game alone, they ran it 18 times. And so there's a little bit of that adjustment, but obviously we got to make those adjustments faster, and we need to this week.